Hi, welcome along to a game of two halves here on DR Sports with Mark Goldbridge joining me in the building. First of all, got to apologise, right, for Mark. Right, wasn't able to do Friday over on his channel. Was coming back from Kenya, and I got all my calculations wrong. My flight was actually at the time we normally do the show, so apologies, Mark. But
we got your predictions in. That's all that matters.
We got the predictions in. We got the predictions in, and of course, on Friday, it will be revealed who is winning. There's only 1 week to go after that. That's the last week, right? Yeah. To see who takes it for the season, and it was very, very narrow last week. So, guys, you've got to check it out on Friday over on That's Football. But first of all, we're here today to take a look back at the weekend's games, and we're going to start with the FA Cup final, which I can say I got right in my predictions. I fancied Palace to win it, and they did win it. Mark, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it had the sense of a bit of a classic FA Cup. I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I did even tweet it on the day. I just felt there was very little hype for this cup final. And I don't really know why, because for Palace, it was such a big game and they really did deliver. I really enjoyed it. Got a missed penalty, 1-0 win for the Underdogs, ridiculous amount of added time at the end. But Palace did what they've done in the quarterfinal and the semi-final. I mean, they've not conceded in any of those games. They've countered superbly. And Glasner did say after they lost in that league game that it won't happen again. And I think they did a job on Man City. I mean, Erling Haaland may as well still been injured. He hardly did anything.
Yeah.
There was controversy. And I'm sort of loath to talk about it, Robbie, because I don't want to take away from Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup with what was obviously, again, and how many times we talk about it, incredibly bad officiating. It wasn't a penalty. It probably was a red card. I thought De Bruyne should have had about 6 yellow cards. But I don't really want to talk about that. Palace winning was the real story.
Yeah, but let's be real, Mark. If that the incident that I focus on, right? And I was happy for Palace, right? I was actually over in Croydon in the morning. I was doing something down at the Box Park in Croydon, and I can tell you, even at that time, right, when I left there, it was about 12:30. The whole place was on fire, like all of Croydon. All you could see was Palace shirts. Obviously, they're from that area. They're from Thornton Heath, and so I was really happy for Crystal Palace, right? However, for me, if that Henderson incident was given against Arsenal, I'd be absolutely fuming this morning. Yeah. How that's not a sending off for me, I still can't work out. He comes out of his box, he pushes the ball. I think they said the reason is that the defender may have been able to get back because it's going away from goal. Well, it's only going away from goal because he pushes it away from the goal. Yeah. You know what I mean? From outside the box. That's a clear red card for me, right? He should have been sent off. And down to 10 men against Man City, it's still, what would it be, 1-0 at that stage, right? I think, was it?
Yeah, it was
1-0 at that stage.
So early, though.
I'm not sure if that game would have ended up the same result. I think, listen, I'm happy for Palace. I wanted them to win it, but I think that was an awful decision. I'd be fuming, and I know you'd be fuming if that was Man United. That was terrible.
Yeah, and look, I said it at the time, and I'll say it again. This is what all fans should be doing. Palace have won it. Liverpool against Spurs a couple of years ago with the offside. Arsenal have had a few. As football fans, you should call it out because it doesn't make any difference to the result, but it's horrific. And just because it benefits the team who want to win, yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of love for Man City, but they were victim of an awful decision. They've had a lot go their way over the years, of course they have, but it always comes and bites you. And the scary thing is there's just so many decisions like this that are just unjustifiable. I mean, it wasn't a penalty. He actually gets the ball, so they're almost like making rules up as they go along. It's disgusting, really. But it would have had a big impact on the game, but it didn't. And Palace won.
Henderson was brilliant after that, saving penalties. Save after save. What's your why didn't Haaland take the penalty? That was weird to me. Like, your main man. What, did he bottle it? Did Haaland bottle it?
Well, it was Silva who won the penalty, so I would have thought Erling Haaland taking the penalty would have been, very, very logical. It's just a weird season for Man City. I was saying this yesterday. Like, it's the first time they've not won a trophy, I think, since 2016. obviously they've had the Rodri injury, but it's just such a mess for them. And I think they just seem to everywhere you look with City, 150 million spent in January. That player misses a penalty in the final. Haaland's just not been the same. De Bruyne's leaving. Look, I'm hoping we're going to find out what's happening with the court case this summer, but they are a club in crisis. And I know we all try and play on that headline every now and again, but there's just a lot going wrong at that football club at the moment. It'd be interesting to see how it goes over the summer. But yeah, I agree. I think Haaland should have took it, surely.
Yeah, no, that was really weird to me, him not taking it. Anyway, they lost the game. Crystal Palace are the FA Cup champions. The year of the underdog, they're saying. A lot of underdogs have been beware, Mark, because
I think
you're the favourites for the Europa League final. Beware.
No, we're the underdogs.
You're not the underdogs, right? You are not the underdogs, right?
Well, I'm not having it anyway, Robbie. As I've said, as if bloody the footballing god is there going, it's the year of the underdog, and we've got all these serious problems in the world. And he's there, yeah. Spurs fans, get down on your knees and pray. You're going to need it on Wednesday.
Yeah, you better win that, right? I'm telling you, right? Please, right? Because I don't know if I can handle them lot. You know what? I know I'm going to get stick from you lot, but I can handle you. I can't handle them lot winning it. And I'm getting worried now. This underdog syndrome. There's something in it. I've seen it everywhere across Europe.
That final is a flip of the coin. To be fair, it could go either way.
Yeah, no, I fancy United to win it, but it's going to be a good final. You're talking about City there. The battle for the top four mark, top five, should I say? Those are the 5 teams that get into Europe, right? Obviously, Liverpool have won the league. Arsenal, second place. Newcastle, third on 66. Arsenal, more literally, we'll talk about that game in a minute, but literally guaranteed now to finish in second place. It'd have to be City would have to win their last 2 games, and it'd have to be a 10-goal swing for them to overtake Arsenal. Newcastle 66 points in third. Chelsea 66 points in fourth. Villa 66 points in fifth, and City 6th on 65 points. They got a game in hand. Forest 65 points. It could be any of Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa, City, or Forest. City are playing tomorrow against Brighton. Am I right? Is it Brighton?
Bournemouth.
Sorry, Bournemouth. Yeah. Right. It's going to be tough. I mean, yesterday, very important win really for Arsenal, because that made sure that they haven't got to worry about getting into those places. They're going to finish second, beating Newcastle by 1-0. And it was Declan Rice with a winner. No Isak for Newcastle, which they missed him.
They did, and I think Newcastle started off really, really well, and it was a bit of a weird game for Arsenal. They've been second all season. You sort of want the season to end now, and then you've got this team that sort of like got a bit of momentum, and they could have took second place. So fair play to Arsenal. They sort of rallied the troops and won. But you get all the negativity around Arsenal and Arteta. And a few weeks ago, there was some Arsenal fans going, "We're going to finish outside the top 5." I said at the time, they'll finish second. They're the second best team in England. They'll finish second, and people don't realise that as much as Arsenal haven't won the league, they don't capitulate and drop off under Arteta. Like he has got a way of finding results, and they deserve second. It's not what Arsenal fans want, but they were never going to drop down. Fair play to Newcastle for having a go, but I think Arsenal, used a bit of experience yesterday as well. Raya was fantastic. You just felt that they had enough to hold them off. I think they would have took a point really, but obviously Rice won it for them. Yeah,
you know what, Mark? Right? I did a video yesterday after the game. It was called The Truth. Right? To which I was looking at some of the comments. To be fair, it's half and half, but there are some people giving me stick for saying this, right? But I was over in Kenya the other day. When you sit back and you reflect, and I'm like, you know what? Arsenal made mistakes this. I think that we should have got a striker in the summer. We could have tried to. Well, we should have tried. I've said it a million times on this show. Tried to have done something in January. Yeah. However, when you look at the injuries that Arsenal have had this season, 27, the most in the Premier League, right? Most of those injuries to absolute key players. I'm talking about players like Saka being out for 4 months. Havertz, who just came back yesterday, he's been out since February. You had Odegaard out for 3 months at the start of the season. Ben White, who's playing yesterday, that's literally one of the first games he started since November last year. He's been out, surgery. Jesus out for the whole season, Gabriel Magalhaes, you know. I'm like, what team would have won the league with those injuries to those key players? And there's people saying, oh, no, you're making excuses. We've got to have squad depth. Well, actually, the reason we're in second is because of squad depth. And that you can have players like Kivior and Mikel Merino come in and really step up to the plate. They're not going to win you it, but they've been able to keep us in second place. So I think when people, you know, listen, I'm not, the one thing where I don't make no excuse for Arsenal is that they could have had more of a go in January. But you saw City, they had a go in January. It's not, you know, they still ended up empty-handed. I mean, I just feel that, you know, we have to be bit realistic as Arsenal fans in that I think if Liverpool had those injuries, they wouldn't have romped the league. I don't think so.
Yeah, and also I just think it's the state of modern football fandom now, isn't it? We've got it at United. You win on a Thursday, you lose on a Saturday or a Sunday, and people are, you know, hammering him out. He's not even had a pre-season or a transfer window, and I think there are those. I call them the sort of stubborn FC. Like they make their mind up too early, and then they won't change it. We get them on the United stand as well. I suppose at the end of the day, the great thing is it creates a debate, doesn't it, and a conversation.
Yeah.
But look,
we're all different.
Arteta's not going anywhere. And as we've said a few times, you know, I saw Paul Merson yesterday saying he's got till Christmas. I can't understand the obsession with Christmas. It's got to be the worst time to sack a manager because it's in the middle of the season. Give Arteta till the end of next season, unless it goes really bad. And then, you know, you make your mind up. He's
going to get till the end of next season, but he has to win something next season for sure. Yeah. Let's have a look at some of the games. I'm like, in that race for the top four, it began on Friday with your guys, Manchester United against Chelsea. Disappointing by United because they went with quite a strong team and started the game pretty well, but they were really disappointing. And Chelsea, in the end, Cucurella with a massive goal, winning it for them.
I was actually going to go with, I think Chelsea have been a bit fortunate in the last few weeks because they caught Liverpool the week after they'd won the title, got 3 points, caught us just before a Europa League final. But to be fair, they've still got that to go and win at Forest, haven't they? It won't be worth anything if Forest beat them. So Chelsea have got their own issues. But I just think from a United point of view, we've lost so many games this season, but I just thought we could have got a point there. I really do. I think it was just bad defending on the back post. We didn't really look like we were going to score. Maguire obviously was just offside, but it wasn't about, when you contrast it with Spurs, I was going to ask you, you know, Ange rested a load of players and Amorim picked a load of players. And although we both lost, Villa were very comfortable. I think Amorim took more of a risk, but actually got it right because he was saying, if I don't pick some of these players, it's 9 days without a game. And it's 5 days till the final. So I actually think Amorim probably got it more right than Ange. I think Ange was terrified of losing another player because of Kulusevski, and I understand that. But it was interesting to contrast the two. And I think a bit of game time in the players' legs was probably more beneficial.
Yeah, sometimes that game time can, because like you said, it's not a quick turnaround. It's still quite a long way to go. I mean, from Friday to Wednesday, still, and you still got to train, and you're going to have some intense training sessions between then. So it was a bit of surprise that he just with the amount of players he rested. But listen, it's all on that final. I mean, Tottenham 21 defeats. Is it 20? No, 20 defeats this season. I mean, that's shocking. He has to win that or he's gone. Now, I think even if he does win it, he's gone. But, Villa, as you said, big win for them. And that was great. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, as we said, Man City are playing. It's the only sort of battle left really in town. But who is going to go through? I want to get your prediction, Mark, right? This first of all, let me look at the fixtures, right? For those teams battling it for the top four, top five. I keep saying top four, top five, right? Man City on Sunday, they've got Fulham and they've got Bournemouth tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Aston Villa, last game of the season against Manchester United. What sort of Manchester United will it be? Would it be a Manchester United that are motivated because they've maybe lost a final and they've got to do something for their fans on the last day? Or is it a Man United in party mood because they know they've got the barbecue the next day because because they've won the Europa League final? Newcastle got Everton at home. You would have thought that, and then the big one, that game, that is massive. Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. The winner could secure themselves a definite place in the top 5. I mean, who's going to make the top 5 for you? We already know Liverpool and Arsenal. Who are the other 3?
I think Newcastle and Man City will do it. As you say, Newcastle home to Everton, and Man City probably just need a win and a draw. So I do think it will come down between Chelsea, Forest and Villa. And there's a few, isn't there? If Chelsea win, they'll get it. If Chelsea draw and Villa win, they'll get it. If Forest win and Villa don't win at Old Trafford, Forest will get it. So I hope that Forest gets something against Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being Villa. I'd like Villa to get it. But
yeah,
you can't pick. You don't know what United are going to turn up, and you don't know what Chelsea are going to turn up. And they've all 3 of them got a really good chance. I'm, you know what, fair play, because the Premier League I think has been a good season, but the relegation and the title race has been a bit dull. So to have this on the final day, where actually this genuine, I can't pick it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'd love to see Forest. I really would love to see Forest. I think they've been so good this season. I don't think Chelsea have been on and off. I think a lot of the other teams, Villa have been good as well. But I'd love to see Forest get it. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for those Champions League places. Let's run through our team of the week. You've seen my team of the week. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a look at it, and I'll put my hands up. I sort of didn't watch that much football from yesterday, so the only ones, I mean, there was probably 3 I definitely would have put in there, which was 4.
All right, let's run through it.
Yeah, go.
So I just run through the team, and then you just add in what you think you should have.
Yeah. Well, you've got Henderson in goal. I think very good on the pitch, but 100%.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been on the pitch, but we're being on the pitch. When you save a penalty, and it was a good save as well. Yeah. When you save a penalty in the FA Cup final, you're in the team of the week, and you kept a clean sheet against Man City.
Your goalie yesterday was bloody fantastic. Right?
No, he was brilliant. But where I'd say, right, there was a few of those saves that he made were self-inflicted. You know what I mean? When you pass the ball straight out to one of their players, right, and then they come back and you have to save it. Right, he did that twice in the game, but he has been rare for me. I think he's been brilliant this season. He really has. He's such a important player for Arsenal. But I think Henderson gets it for me. Back 4.
Well, I agree with the Palace right back. I thought he was fantastic.
Nunes, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And Cucurella did really well actually for Chelsea, because he got the goal, which is huge goal. But he also played well, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, there's probably other games that I haven't seen that could contest with those, but I'm not going to argue with. I think Kivior's come in and done a great job for Arsenal. That was a big loss losing Gabriel, and you think about some of the games he's played in. Yeah, and you've got to give it to one of the Palace centre-backs, 100%.
Yeah, I thought that Richards. Yeah, we went Richards because I thought he was brilliant in the FA Cup final. And again, we've got to think about the magnitude of the game. So, all right, midfield, I went Declan Rice, Gibbs-White, and Wharton for Palace.
I can't really argue with any of them. Wharton, I thought was superb. Gibbs-White scored a very good goal. Although, let's just have a shout out for Jared Bowen. The technique on that was brilliant. What a goal that was.
What a goal that was. Yeah, that was a brilliant goal.
And then Declan Rice took it well. I'm really interested to see what happens in that midfield with Declan Rice, because I remember when he was at West Ham, I knew someone who was like at Chelsea and he knew someone at West Ham, and they were like, apparently Rice is actually a really good attacking midfielder. He just has to play the holding role for West Ham because he's so good. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see at Arsenal, he's getting a little bit more freedom. So I'd be interested to see if that continues next year.
I think it will, because it looks like they're going to bring in Zubimendi. If Zubimendi comes in and they're trying to keep Partey. So if that suggests to me that them two will be the holding players. Yeah. And Rice will get that sort of more box-to-box role, which he's been absolutely brilliant. And look at how many goals he scored this season. Mm-hmm. And remember, he was out for a bit as well. He sort of started the season not great, to be honest. Not to the levels of we've seen him, but he's really finished the season brilliantly since the whole of this year. Up front, I went Eze, Ndiaye, who last game at Everton, last game at Goodison to score. His name's in history now, 2 goals. The 2 not just 1 goal, the 2 final goals at Goodison. I went for another nostalgic one. Jamie Vardy, Leicester, last ever game for Leicester, scores
We can't really
200
argue.
goals.
Yeah, you can't really argue with it, can you? Because there wasn't actually an abundance of goals this weekend, really. And,
Yeah.
iconic goal for Vardy. I think he's got to be in there. And as you say, Everton, sad to see it. That's the last game at Goodison. It's one that's, been there since I've watched football, Goodison. So it's sad to see it go. But yeah, I'm happy with that. There isn't actually that much, is there really, in the attacking sense anyway this week?
What, Mark, why is not teams across Europe and especially in the Premier League queuing up for Eze? This guy is so good, man.
Yeah.
His quality is so good. I don't know why teams have not been. I'd love to see him at Arsenal. I mean, would you have him at United? I think he's absolute quality.
We'd take his brother at United, and I don't even know if he's got a brother. he might not have one. But no, yeah, of course, we take Vardy, let's be honest. So, no, but I don't know what it is. You know what? I was on about this with someone a few weeks ago. I said, is he injury prone? And they went, no, everyone thinks he is, but he actually hasn't had a bad season injury wise. I think he's only got a year or two left on his contract. He's been in the England squad. He scores good goals. I don't know. I don't get it. But what I would say about Palace is that if you are a Palace player now, like Mateta and Wharton and Eze, Europa League football, really good manager. I hope he can keep them together for another year, to be fair.
Yeah, and they're all legends now. That's the first ever trophy.
Yeah,
and South London was popping on Saturday. Well done to Crystal Palace for winning the FA Cup. Mark, just before we go, you got a big assignment on Wednesday. The Europa League final, Athletic Bilbao. I know your channel, I'll be watching. It's going to be big. What's your prediction?
You know what? I'll give a bit of an insight because we haven't done our preview on the United stand yet, but I have got a few notes.
Okay, you know what? I don't want you to reveal your prediction then.
No, I don't mind. No, it's very consistent because I've said we'll win the Europa League since Christmas. So obviously I'm going to go with a win. But I could not deal with a penalty shootout. That would be the worst penalty shootout because the context of it is just so big. But I don't think it will get that. I was looking at Spurs and they've only drawn 5 games. They've got the lowest amount of draws in the league. And yet they've scored more goals than Villa, but they've conceded the same amount of goals as West Ham. So to me, Spurs are a team that either win or lose. They don't draw and it's not close, which if we're going to lose, I'd rather we bloody lose and don't lose on penalties. So I think it will be, I'm convinced it's going to be a comfortable win for one of them, like 2-0, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it'll be done in 90 minutes. And I think Kulusevski's a massive loss. Bergvall's a massive loss. Maddison's a massive loss. They're relying on a lot of
those are 3 big players.
Yeah.
Those are 3. To be fair to them, they've had a lot of injuries this season as well. And they've really suffered for it. But the one thing I just think the experience, the nous of players like Bruno, Casemiro, even Maguire, those players, I just feel that that's going to get them over the line. I just think, I know they've beaten you a few times this season, and then again, like, they're coming into this game on some bad form. Like, when's the last time they won a game in the league? I mean, I know United have also been poor in the league, but I don't know. I just can't see them. When they've played you before earlier on in the season, they were a bit more hotter for me. They've just been down and out, so long. And I mean, I know, they've got through to the final in this, but they've had an easy route in my books to Bodo Glimt in the semi-final. That wasn't really a real test. I'm not. I don't know. It's going to be. Let's see what happens. But I predict United as well.
I do worry about the ref a little bit. It's a Premier League game, and it's a referee who's got a bad reputation for being a bit over the top. So, I'd hate to see it. Well, I'd love to see it if it was Romero, but I'd hate to see Casemiro clatter into someone on a red card because I think that just changed. It's too big a game for a red card in it. But we've had a red card in every game we've played. So
and then like you said, you got your key players there. Even Ahmad's back. They're missing player. I'm not sure. I feel United will get the win, but we look forward to it Wednesday, the Europa League final. Mark, thank you very much. Of course, everybody, I'll be back over on Mark's channel on Friday. We'll be looking back.
I might not be there.
He might not be there. He might be gone on early holiday.
Or just retired, just being out of order sign or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, listen. See you guys next week. And Mark, thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers. Thank you.